Yes, finally we can play some Sword Art Online. Oh shit. What's going on, squad? I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I actually just bought Sword Art Online Re-Hollow Fragment for the PlayStation 4. So if you want to see some videos, let me know right now. And while you're down there, go ahead and click a like. Anyways, back on topic, I guess. So, Dragon Quest is a pretty big franchise by Square ENIX. It was pretty big in the US, I guess, I think, back in the PS2 era, you know. More of the games came over to the US back in the PS2 era. But times have changed. Now, times have changed for the better and for worse. One, we don't get as many of these Dragon Quest games. We don't get any, basically, of these Dragon Quest games in the US. But they are starting to make a lot of sort of other types of it, you know. They're not just making the normal Dragon Quest games. So one of those games, the one we're talking about today, is Dragon Quest Heroes. Now the significance of Dragon Quest Heroes is that it's coming out to the US. Already has a confirmation date of October 13th. It originally came out in Japan February 26th of 2015. So, you know, it was kind of, you know, not a half a year about, you know, until we got in the US. So that's pretty cool. So basically what happened was they sort of planned, after it came out in Japan, they sort of planned to bring it to the West because it was able to come in 2015. Now, if you watch my Dragon Quest Builder videos, you will know that that game is cool. But if you watch the last one I just made yesterday, I believe, on Dragon Quest Builder's first gameplay. Now, in that video I mentioned that they had a Dragon Quest sort of conference. The whole conference Square Enix had was aimed at Dragon Quest games because they announced a bunch of Dragon Quest stuff. And in that conference, they announced Dragon Quest Heroes 2. Now, like I said, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 is coming to the freaking US. But one thing to note about this release is that it's coming out to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 in the US. Now, you might be like, oh, why? So what's so great about that? Of course it's coming to the PS4, you know, nothing comes to the Vita. That's where you're wrong, you bad. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is already confirmed to come to PlayStation 4, I think PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita. Now, this just all confuses me. It confuses me. How can you start off a next-gen game on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, you know, and then the sequel comes to a handheld, you know? Like, I've never really seen this before. Now, in the early times of Dragon Quest Heroes, I swear I saw somewhere where it said it was coming to PlayStation Vita. And I think it might have been initially coming to the PlayStation Vita, but something happened and they weren't able to actually bring it to the PlayStation Vita. Now, in terms of information for Dragon Quest Heroes 2, I know that they did say this one's gonna have online, because Dragon Quest Heroes is not gonna have online. Before I get too into this video, I just want to let you know exactly what Dragon Quest Heroes is, because like I said, it's not like all the other Dragon Quest games, you know. This one is different, just like how Dragon Quest Builder is completely different than the normal Dragon Quest. The only thing is, this one isn't as far off like Dragon Quest Builders is. So basically, if you know the game Dynasty Warriors is a big hack and slash game where there's a bunch of mobs coming at you and you're just mowing them down with big long attacks, trying to get your hit. You know, you have your hit counter going up to like 300, 1,000, you know, 99999, you know, stuff like that. That's what this kind of Dragon Quest Heroes game. But then there's a twist that really changes everything and really is the main reason why I am getting this game. It has some RPG elements, not some, it has RPG elements to the Dynasty Warriors type of game. Now, you know, whenever you first hear the Dynasty Warriors type game, it can turn you off. But honestly, you know, what kind of bored me of Dynasty Warriors after a while is that everything is the same, you know. Your characters are the same, nothing's changing, you're not getting anything new, you're not doing anything newer, just constantly picking down big mobs of enemies. But in Dragon Quest Heroes, you will be able to change your equipment, get better gear, craft better gear, you know, craft new armor, stuff like that. And you'll be able to switch in your party, people that you, because you have like 4 people in a party, you're able to switch with them, do some combos and stuff, you know. That's really what's gonna keep me, because just hacking and slashing big mobs, it gets boring after a while. But then being able to refresh my equipment, get new stuff, that can really add a lot to the game. Now back onto the weird talk. What are you thinking, Square Enix? If you're gonna put the sequel on the Vita, why isn't the first one? It just doesn't make sense to me, dude. And this is also pretty, you know, big, because if Dragon Quest Heroes does good in the US, you know, because that's the only Dragon Quest game confirmed for a US release at this point out of all of them. Dragon Quest X, Dragon Quest XI, Dragon Quest Builders, you know, that's the only one confirmed for US release. So it's all up to us. It's all up to us, and we could have another AAA Vita title along with another great, you know, PS4 title as a sequel to the first one that we got. But I know you guys would be, you know, caring the most about the Vita version. So I don't know why they're doing this, but basically, if you have a PS4, you need to get this game. All right. Of course, if you don't like it, I'm not gonna force you, but you need to get this game to help bring the sequel to the US, because the more people that buy it, the more they'll see people are interested in the US, and the more reason they'll have to bring the sequel to the US. Now, of course, they may announce this later, because it wouldn't make sense to announce a sequel of a game that hasn't even come out yet. You know, so maybe they're just waiting for this game to come out before they announce it. But you never know. You know, that could not obviously not be the case. It could be the case. But that's just my thoughts. I'm just throwing out some thoughts. Some THOTs. But anyways, yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 Vita confirmed, but we gotta get that in the US. We gotta get it to the US. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see my squad later on the flip side when I'm done playing Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment. I keep flicking people off. Peace.